a book, right? I like to call it the book of life. And I am writing the second chapter in my book, guys. Welcome to this edition of Hope Healthy Living. I am Hope. My co-host is not with me today. This is another episode in our summer series on mental health and mental well-being. And in this episode, guys, I want to share a little bit the challenges that I am having starting on a new path. And the goal is to empower another person, to tell someone else out there that if you are starting on a new path, you are not alone. So stay tuned, guys. Now, welcome back. I am going to take the analogy I mentioned in my last video. If you have not watched it, I was out, doing my jogging, and I came across a dog on one side of the road, and you could see that the dog is limping, right, with just one leg. And on the opposite side of the road, there was this flock of dogs, right, and they were just roaming and feeling really happy or free, pecking, and they could move up and down with ease. And I stood there and just contemplated the scene, and it was just jarring because for me it was a metaphor of my life right now. So while I was taking pictures, as you can see, yes, I took some pictures, but I was already reflecting because I was thinking, wow, I feel like this dog right now, with a broken leg. And while I'm able to move around, but I have this obvious challenge, right? And the broken leg is what we see. But we don't even know the extent of his injuries, right? When I was standing there and I kept thinking, this is life, right? We go about our life with maybe physical injuries that people can see, but beyond those injuries, right, we might have, a deeper wound. We might have scars that people don't see. And so it was really a moment of reflection for me. I was very happy to have come upon that scene, though I was also very sad because I wasn't able to pick up the dog. I don't think we are allowed to do it. They are professionals who, are in charge of that type of incidents. But I was very sad. I stood there with two other, visitors, right? People in the park. And we watch and we talk about it a little bit. It was really a moment of connection. And so for me, bringing this analogy is just to tell you that, yes, in life, we go through challenges. And I am having this very open and difficult discussion because for 15 years, I wasn't able to have this type of conversation with the people in my life, with the people, who were supposed to know me the best. So it's very hard to start a conversation like that, telling somebody I'm not fine, or maybe I need something to change in my life, like I have been saying in my previous videos, right? It's a big step. And if you are in that place, if you are right now feeling like you need to, to take that step, I want to tell you it's not easy, but you can do it, because I am here doing this video, and if you can see, I'm not whining, I'm not crying, though it's a very difficult time for me. There's no more tears because I have cried for 15 years, and there's no more time for me to cry. I need to act. I need to be myself. I need to achieve the things that I have set my mind to achieve. And in that spirit, guys, I'm very happy to tell you that, our first book, we are on track, to publish our first book. So right now we have an illustrator who's working on the illustrations for our first book. And as far as my website is concerned, I always tell you about the progress that we're making in improving our website. And guess what? The website will be up and running by August, the second week of August, which is the week I reach a big milestone. It's my birthday week, guys. And I want to thank you for your support, because you have been there from the beginning with us doing these videos. I was using a very old phone, and while it was very difficult to film, many of you have watched these first video and actually encouraged us to continue. You know who you are. And if you're watching for the first time, please do not hesitate to subscribe to our channel. This is a place where we share life experiences, right? It's really about learning, sharing, and empowering each other. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I don't feel like it's easy for me to talk about these topics. So, I have always been in a very, I can say, comfortable, right? I was comfortable for 15 years. I had food and shelter. I was raising a kid. It's a blessing. I will never take that for granted. But I never felt like I was accomplished. There were things that I was missing in my life. I always dreamed of a professional life, and today I feel like I'm able to do that, and I'm doing it even on my own. Like, I'm able to create, to build something around my passions. And this is a blessing. Again, it's not easy, but for me it's a blessing. Now the challenge is that some people, right, don't understand what it means to say I'm not happy or I'm not fine when you have food and shelter. Now, I don't want to take my life for granted. I am blessed. I know that right now when I'm talking about not being happy or wanting something else, I recognize that somewhere somebody is just trying to hold on to their breath, as somebody is just trying to hold on to, a glimpse of hope in their life. And even though I'm going through my own challenges, I will never take that for granted. I will never try to say, oh, but if this person has more than I do, that means my own challenges are nothing. Because that's not how life works, right? And I know that, since I started this conversation, some people have said, oh, you're just whining, you have food and shelter, but life is not just about food and shelter. And when I talk about this, I want to bring out a topic. Maybe I will digress a little bit. We have seen in the news celebrities talking about, not being happy, and people, almost all of us, right? A lot of times we don't understand why somebody with so much wealth, somebody who's accomplished, may not be happy, right? And I'll take specifically the case of Naomi Osaka. You guys know I love tennis, so I have been following, the tennis news, right? With people not understanding why she would say, I have this issue to deal with, I have anxiety, or maybe I'm not going to attend a media conference during Roland Garros, and people didn't like it. And then now people say, well, and why is she going to the Olympics? Yeah, it's a difficult topic, but I can imagine for a celebrity that people would be understandable, actually. because they have a lot of pressure. And I always take that case and try to compare it to me, everyday person, right? And just being at home for 15 years, raising kids. And now it's difficult for me to say I'm not happy, because people are quick to say, well, you chose to be at home, or you chose to have the life that you had, and so you might be whining now. But it's not true, because as a mother, right, you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be happy for your kids. You're supposed to be happy for your family. You're supposed to put on that, strong, hardcore face. And I know even a pediatrician told me that it's your role to be strong. And so it's very difficult to say at the same time that you are strong, which means I am fine. When you go everywhere, somebody said, how are you doing? And you say, I am fine, when actually you are not. And it's been the case for 15 years. And now I'm able to say, if you ask me if I'm fine, I'll say, no, I'm not fine. Or I'm able to nuance it. I'm able to say, I have this problem, but I am fine. Because the society wants us to say, I am fine, right? People don't just walk out and start saying, I have this issue, I have this issue, I have this issue. So I do understand why some people may not fully appreciate, right, when somebody said, I have issue, because we tend to look at the surface area, but we all know that deep below, the person might be going through issues, and we as a society have to recognize that. And so for me, sharing my experience with you, telling you how difficult it is for me to even start that kind of conversation, and not just with the people that I have met on social media in my little circle, but even with my own family. It's not an easy conversation, because like I said, it's hard for people to put you have food and shelter with I'm not fine. It's very difficult. It's just, as we say in Cameroon, palm oil and water don't mix. So, but it's life, and I do understand that, and I just hope that me sharing this experience is really trying to start that conversation, not just in my own family, but even in my community, right? Even with the African diaspora. It's time for us to recognize that we can have food and shelter and still say, I'm not fine. And we should be able to listen to each other. And another thing I also, want to talk about is that when you're going through these challenges, as I am doing right now, you need to understand that, you have to get outside your comfort zone, right? And for me, it was having that life where I have just my kid to raise, and then I felt like there was nothing I could do with some of my challenges. And so I was really in that, if you can say, comfort zone. But now I don't have that mindset. You have to change that mindset. Okay guys, while I was preparing for this episode, I came across a TED Talk by Mel Robbins, right? I'm going to put the link down below so you can listen. And she has powerful message. In that TED Talk episode, she talks about stop saying you are fine. And for me, listening to that, I said, wow. And this was in 2011. Well, I wasn't on YouTube in 2011, but during that time, right? That's the period of my life where I always said I was fine. I spent 15 years at home raising my two kids. While I am blessed, to be able to do that, it was at the same time a very challenging years, right? Those years were very challenging because I never felt like I was accomplished. I never felt like I was valued, and there was always that feeling of disappointment in me. And so, but I would always say I am fine, because as a mother, first of all, we are, people expect you to be strong. You have to be strong for your kids. You have to be strong for your family. You have to be strong for the people around you. And so it's just your routine. You take care of the family. You take care of everybody else. And you kind of neglect yourself. You kind of do that. And because you do it for so long that it becomes normal, it becomes a comfort thing, right? But for me now, getting out of my comfort zone and being able to say, no, I am not fine, it also comes with challenges, because sometimes people think you are whining. Well, she still have food and shelter, and why is she whining? And at the same time that she's saying, okay, now I want to be accomplished. Well, we thought, being a mother should be, something fulfilling. It's true. It is fulfilling. And not everybody gets the chance to be a mother. So I do not take that for granted. Okay, guys, still with that analogy of the dog, limping on one side of the road, and then the flock of dogs just roaming around free and with ease on the other side. I felt like, in life, right, we all have different parts. And for me, sharing my experience trying to write the second chapter of my life, it's really about empowering another person, because I know today I'm that dog limping, but tomorrow, maybe if I heal, I will be on the other side, roaming around with the other dogs. And who knows, it might be one of the dogs on the other side who might, get caught, through something, or maybe get injured. And that's just how life goes. And I know it's sometimes when you are in a difficult situation, it seems unfair that you are the one going through these challenges. But I always remind myself that not just I'm not alone, but also it's not anybody's fault. It's my fault. It's my life going through my challenges. I want to make sure that sharing my experiences doesn't come across as putting my problems on someone else. I don't want it to come across as me whining about my life, because again, I would say it and I will always say it, I have been blessed with, the little life I have been able to, to make up for myself, for my family. And so I do not take that for granted, because at the same time, I know that there are millions of other people, around the world just struggling to get by. And so it's not lost on me. That's my message, and I hope you're going to come back next week when, we have another video out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video so it can help another person, because I believe that, there are many other people out there who are going through the same struggles, trying to get on a second part, trying to redefine their life. And so this message can also be helpful, because for me, for 15 years, I didn't get that kind of message, and I wish I did. And so, but today, the past is the past. I have to move forward. I have to stay focused, guys. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.